A shakedown hike is when you take a hike, usually, an overnight trip, for the purpose of testing out some new gear or a new system, something like that. There's something you want to try, test out, see how it works. So you do a hike, almost specifically for that purpose, and that's called a shakedown hike. It refers to sort of like giving your gear a stress test, shaking it down to see if it will hold up, or if it falls apart. So we see our tracks going over here to the beginning of the Butler Trail. So we go down, down, down. I'm going down, 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 down. So like if you got a new tent, you want to see how it works, take it with you on a shakedown hike. Another term you hear, like on the Appalachian Trail, but the much of the lingo applies to any of the longer trails that are, 1,000, 2,000 miles or more. But a flip-flop, doing a flip-flop, that's where you do the whole trail, but not, in the same direction from one end to the other, maybe you, there's something they talk about on that trail called the Virginia Blues, where when you're going through the Virginia part, it kind of gets monotonous. You get a little bit bored. And so I remember seeing one YouTube documentary of a woman who she had her family come visit her somewhere in Virginia, and then had her husband take her to a point farther north. I think he took her to Philadelphia, and she caught a flight to somewhere in Maine in order to get to, I think she maybe just went to Mount Katahdin and went up it, and then started southbound. So that's a flip-flop. I remember this spot. I remember clearing snow away here to make myself a place to sit down. And this is where I ate some potatoes. I've got the Nikon camera back in action now. It has been at least partially charged up by the solar charger. And I have it, I've got my system that I talked about in another video, where I've got two small bungee cords hooked to the camera strap on each side, and then they go back to the side straps on my backpack. So that keeps the camera from flopping around. It's basically up against my belly, and it provides for POV filming. Squish, squish. There's a muddy portion from runoff down the hillside there. Well, I tell you, 2 days ago, if we had come up this way, if this had been our original plan, with the other backpack and the load that we were carrying, it would have been a lot rougher. This was rough enough, pretty light load. I know there exist steeper trails, but this is probably the steepest one I've ever done. And there aren't too many trails that just go up the whole time without any, leveling out and, short downhill portions, Oh, look, the stick that we used to clear that off earlier so we could climb over it, still there. It wasn't just to clear it off, it was also to brace the butt a little bit as I climbed over it. But this time I want to climb over it this way. I see some of those slanted footprints again, in portions where I went up slantwise. There's that seat with the ladder you can go up. Well, have we made it almost to the bottom here? It's looking pretty low in elevation. And I see goldenrod blaze there. Yep, okay. Over to our right I can see that sign and that bench. So this is where we cross Butler Hollow Creek or whatever that's called. Get on the nature trail, and we are almost back.